Whispers in silence. Chapter 1. The New Beginning. Judith stood at the edge of Willow Creek's quaint downtown square, her eyes scanning the charming facade of old buildings as she drew a deep breath of fresh air. It had been years since she felt such peace wash over her, years marred by the constant din and chaos of city life. Here, amidst the rolling hills and whispering leaves, lay solace. The gentle hum of small-town existence beckoned to her like a siren's call. A new start was just what she needed, a chance to untangle the knots of memories past. Stepping off the bus with 2 luggage bags in tow, Judith surveyed her surroundings as if searching for an old friend. Her eyes settled on a small cafe across the street, smoke curling lazily from its chimney. Warm sunlight danced through the leaves of tall oaks, casting dappled shadows over the cobblestone path leading up to it. A group of children laughed and chased each other nearby, their echoes mingling with the soft chime of wind through the trees as they played tag. Their voices were like a symphony to her weary ears, a soothing melody after months of urban cacophony. "Welcome to Willow Creek." A friendly voice interrupted her reverie. It belonged to Rachel, whose handshake was firm yet delicate as silk. "I'm your real estate agent." Judith smiled, grateful for the interruption, extending her hand in response. "Thank you so much for meeting me here," she said sincerely. Together, they walked toward a small cottage nestled between 2 towering oaks, hazelnut and oak, their roots twisted in an embrace as old as time. Rachel handed over the keys with a smile. "You'll love this little gem." As Judith turned to explore her new home, something prickled at the back of her mind, a shiver caught by the breeze perhaps. The air was alive with unspoken stories, each leaf rustling carrying tales from another era on its breath. Inside, time seemed frozen. Everything felt as though it had been plucked straight from a past century, rich wood panels, velvet drapes, and antique furniture polished to gleam. "This place has character," she murmured, running fingers over the wooden banister. She imagined the stories each plank could tell, the laughter, tears, the lives lived within these walls. The first few days blended together in an endless dance of unpacking, settling, and meeting neighbors, each one as warm as Rachel had promised. There was Harold from next door, who recommended a local tea shop, Lily, a librarian neighbor, with tales of old books and hidden corners, and Jake at the corner store, offering fresh produce that smelled sweetly of earth and sunshine. Yet amidst warmth, Judith felt an undertone hushed conversations when she passed by or turned back to look over her shoulder, a fleeting sense of being watched. It was merely city nerves reawakening. At night, her dreams were fragmented, the forest outside her window full of eerie whispers, as if ancient secrets attempted to seep through the glass. Early mornings found her strolling past Willow Creek Elementary, where children's voices played out in chorus with nature's symphony, their laughter echoing like sunbeams that chased away shadowy corners. She'd just finished one such walk when Lily handed over a folder filled with local history, Willow Creek's heart and soul distilled between dog-eared pages. The town was once a haven for coal miners who worked the nearby mines until the industry collapsed, leaving behind a legacy of toil, but also unity. There were stories of love as old as those houses, their tales of struggle and resilience. And then came the whisperings and the silence, a sense of unease she couldn't quite put her finger on, a feeling that seeped into her waking thoughts like ivy climbing stone walls. As if the town had secrets it was reluctant to share. Chapter 2. Unearthed Secrets. The first week turned into 2, and Judith's curiosity took hold. She pored over Lily's document slate into the night, fingers tracing faded photographs of coal miners' families huddled together for warmth by candlelight during winter storms or standing proud in their Sunday attire. It was as if every page contained a hidden truth she yearned to unravel. In between the black and white images, an article caught her eye, the Willow Creek disaster. Miners had taken a stand against poor working conditions and had paid the price with their lives, their protest violently put down by the mine owners, driving away any hope for a better future. The anger and pain still lingered, she imagined, buried beneath each brick or stone. Lily's curiosity piqued, Judith ventured into town to visit the local library. Old books were her sanctuary, but here, whispers of the dead hung in the air, their stories woven within pages that smelled of aged leather and forgotten dreams. One book stood out, a journal written by a young miner named Samuel. Beneath the earth we found gold and death. As she delved into its worn pages, Judith realized her imagination ran wild visions of ghosts and dark happenings. But then there were mentions of strange shadows lurking at night and whispers heard when none should be speaking. Shivering, she closed it. Shadows, once an illusion, now felt tangible. Her research led her to the old abandoned mine on the outskirts. Dusk was approaching as she walked through rustling leaves, each step revealing secrets buried beneath her feet, the town's history etched in the earth, the very same that had taken lives a century ago. In her imagination, Samuel appeared at times, a spectre of cold dust and sweat, and his whispers began to seep into reality. At first it was just a soft murmur, unintelligible words carried by an unseen breeze, then clear phrases, "Don't go in there," or "Come back." It wasn't until the final whisper she heard, Judith's name, that cold tendrils of dread crawled down her spine. A gust swept past as she reached the mine entrance. Leaves rustled like a chorus of voices. In the dark recesses, something scurried against the stone, the shadow of a man, too large for this time. With one last glance at the town's tranquil exterior, she stepped into the musty darkness. The air grew thick with an unearthly chill that had nothing to do with the mine's dankness. In the distance, Samuel spoke again, his voice echoing off walls. "Judith, it is not what you seek." She turned to face him. "What are you?" No reply came, only a faint echo of her name. When she finally found herself back in the dying light outside, there stood a man, cold, stained skin and weary eyes that spoke volumes of loss and hopelessness, the spectre of those who paid for their dreams with lives prematurely taken. Chapter 3. Echoes of Fear. Judith didn't sleep. Nightmares had become Samuel's company. In the day, she'd venture deeper into town history, her curiosity unquenched by the light of day but fed by moonlit shadows. She pored over more books, saw local historians account detailed events surrounding the mine tragedy and its aftermath, a community torn apart by greed and despair. On the final night before the solstice celebration, Judith huddled on her porch with a book, Samuel's story, an open page away. The wind whispered his name softly in her ear, followed by words she had never dared hope to hear. "Run." She glanced around at the darkness, a silhouette moving beyond her vision, and then vanished into the woods. It was time for truth, no matter how heavy. Early dawn found her standing before the abandoned mine as the sun broke through trellises of trees, Samuel by her side. He spoke of injustices and warnings, of lives lost beneath the earth, their stores waiting to be set free. His voice merged with others, children playing in the woods, workers protesting, lovers embracing during a strike that had never come to fruition. Samuel became more than a spectre, he was a key. In the mine's core, she found it underground like a submerged city of call and grief. It was time for those lives to be spoken from their silent graves. In the solstice celebration, Judith addressed the town, Samuel her guide. The coal miners' spirits rose from the earth as one, their shadows dancing above headstones in a defiant display of unity, their whispers no longer just lament but defiance. As they spoke, Samuel stood before her, a man forged by the earth and fire, asking for help to find peace and closure. In the end, it was about justice that had been denied them until death, or so she felt. His spirit merged with others, their stories woven in a tale of love and resistance. It became clear their voices were never truly silenced. It wasn't until that night, as moonlight illuminated Samuel's face, that Judith realized it was time to speak, not for the dead but those left behind, to miners' families whose dreams had been crushed by greed. A voice joined the chorus of whispers, her determination echoing with theirs. Together they rose above the earth and spoke out against injustice, singing of hope and defiance, a choral cry in perfect harmony, the town's long held secrets now free to breathe. In a dance between life and death, Judith's presence had set them free, their tales finally told. She had found peace with the dead by helping their voices be heard. The town was reborn that night, children laughing, lovers embracing, workers united, and for one moment they were still alive. She returned home to a new book, a testament to her presence in this world, and another, her name etched inside as a hearer. But the shadows Samuel's guides through this journey began to fade away, leaving her with a newfound understanding of what she had inadvertently stood up. In the end, it was about those left behind, the coal miners' children who never knew their father's love or kisses under moonlight. They were the ones she must now fight for. As she walked back home through the forest, Samuel stood beside her, his eyes weary yet hopeful, a man whose spirit had been silenced. He whispered his final words, "I am at peace." They faded away like smoke on the wind. Theirs was a story of love and resilience in the darkest hours. It wasn't the miners or their children that haunted Willow Creek, but the greed that still lingered, wearing different faces. As Judith looked up at Samuel, he began to fade into dust, a testament to her resolve and a whispered promise, "You are not alone." His image dissolved, leaving behind a set of blue jeans, the same worn by those who had fought for better lives. They were all in the wind now, waiting for her to carry their tale. Judith was chosen, and it would be their voice against injustice. As she took up his legacy, Samuel's spirit vanished into the trees. He wasn't hers alone anymore, but theirs to theirs. And when darkness claimed the town that night, a single light shone above the mine, a beacon for justice in search of her. Our story wove tales of love and courage with every page, those who fought beneath ground and those who had to live on without them. The children they left behind were her legacy now. The final page was filled with Samuel's gratitude to God, yet still present, his spirit passed into her hands. As she closed the book, Willow Creek slept under a moon not yet new, but already full of promise, a testament that their tales might change lives. In the heart of darkness, Judith found light, hopes, and dreams that had been buried. And though he was no longer by her side, a spirit woven into pages she created every night, their voices a song to the wind, a testament to love enduring against all odds. In the quiet hours, she finished their story, a legacy they deserved, theirs intertwined with Samuel's and those who'd never known their fathers loved their tales of struggle and defiance. In the days that followed, faces from her book appeared to some with eyes still sunken by grief or filled with hope. A new chapter began in Willow Creek, hushed conversations turning into discussions about justice long denied. Judith was no longer alone. She'd found a town's voice, each page a testament to those lost and living silent no more. She heard Samuel's laughter, an unseen hand guiding her toward the mine, and he whispered his final words, "You are not alone." As she reached the entrance, his spirit merged with hers, becoming the light that guided the way for those still in shadow, her voice a beacon against injustice, eternal silence broken by hope. She walked into the mine, a new dawn breaking before her.